Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here and it's that time again for my weekly wrap up. I had a really good reading week this week. I read some really good books. In fact, I read the 2 5-star books that I've read this month in this week, so it was a very good week for me. I read 5 books this week. I read 4 full books and then I finished off a very small part of the book that I was finishing off at the end of last week. So we'll start with that one, and that was Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I was buddy reading this with Nicole from Dorker Brain, which was such a great experience. She's really great to buddy read with. She's just got some really good insights and it was just really fun. I really enjoyed it. I really loved this book. It was well worth the hype that it had had. There were so many twists and turns and plot changes and deceptions. At the end of every part, because it's split into parts, my head was reeling. I just loved it. It was really suspenseful and just really engaging and interesting. The plot essentially is a big swindle to swindle an heiress out of her money, but there's just so much more to it than that, and I don't want to say any more about the plot because I really don't want to spoil anything, because everything's a twist and turn, and it's just a really good book. I can't push it highly enough. It's really complex, really beautifully written. There's a lesbian storyline to it, although I felt it was just a natural, it was just natural within the story. It wasn't, it didn't feel like it was forced in there or pushed in there. And I know from watching Mercedes at Mercy's Bookish Musings that Sarah Waters, I think, is a lesbian and always says, like, when she gives interviews, that it's just natural for her to write about that, and I can totally see, and it did feel very natural in this book, so I thought that was quite an interesting part of the story. So needless to say, this was my first 5-star book of the week, and I am now off to read everything that Sarah Waters has ever written. And lucky for me, there's a fair few. I think there's another 5 books. And lucky also for me that Nicole from Dorker Brain has agreed to do a buddy read of Tipping the Velvet in June. I believe we're going to try and do it, so I'm very excited about that. The next book that I decided to read this week was Significance by Shelley Crane. This was my BookTuber Recommends pick from Sarah at Books and Junk, so thank you to her for picking this. This book was okay. It was a good read, I enjoyed it, but I just couldn't get over the insta-love. And in this book, in the plot, the insta-love is kind of, well, it's a big part of the plot, so it's kind of written away and as if to say, well, it's okay that it's insta-love, but for me, I just couldn't get past it. The basic story is about Maggie, and one day after graduation, she saves a boy at a crossroads from getting hit by a car, and this is Caleb, and it turns out that they're soulmates, and he's from a magical family, and drama and everything ensues with rival clans and all sorts. And it was a really fun, adventurous book, and I really enjoyed that part of it. It was just this insta-lovey bit that just got me a little bit, and so I just gave this one 3 stars. And the next book was All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, and wow. I have since reading this book been to see Jennifer Niven give a talk with David Levithan and Sally Green, who are the authors of Will Grayson and Half Bad and Half Wild, at Waterstones Piccadilly, which was brilliant. And hearing Jennifer Niven talk about the inspiration for this story was really, it just made this even better. The story is about 2 high school teenagers, Finch and Violet, and one day they're at the top of the school bell tower contemplating committing suicide, from what we can tell. And the story is written in dual points of view, so we see Finch and Violet all the way through the book in their points of view, which I thought was really good, and the voices really came through very well. And it's just about their relationship from there and what happens, and I just thought it was really brilliantly written, and it didn't shy away from the harder subjects, and it dealt with some really heavy topics in a really powerful way. And Jennifer Niven said that the inspiration for this story came from a boy that she knew when she was younger, and that is who Finch is based on. So if you read the book or you've read the book, you'll know how that must have been a really difficult book for her to write. And I gave this one 5 stars. I just can't, it's definitely, again, one of those books that's well worth the hype. Next, I read The Haunting of Sunshine Girl, and I got this off of NetGalley. It's by Paige Mackenzie, so disclaimer, you know, I got it free from NetGalley as a review copy, so it won't affect my review in any way. I haven't watched, I believe this is based on a YouTube channel, The Haunting of Sunshine Girl, and I haven't watched that because horror's not really my thing. But when this book came up on NetGalley and it said it was sort of a YA and it was kind of spooky paranormal rather than horror, I thought, oh, I'm going to give it a go, and the front cover was really, really good. This book was good. I enjoyed the idea and the storyline. Sunshine moves with her adoptive mother to a house which appears when she gets there to be haunted. The story unravels from there, and there's some interesting concepts and plots in there I really enjoyed. There's some very different ideas of paranormal and haunting and what Sunshine's legacy is, and I thought that was very good. I think probably this book is aimed at the younger end of the YA audience, and I think if you are at that end of the audience or you like those books, then this would definitely be a fun, interesting book for you. I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I gave it 3 stars. And then the final book that I completed this week was We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallet, I think his name is. Apologies, Tommy, if that's wrong. And again, this was a NetGalley advanced reader copy, so just, you know, full disclosure, I'm going to be giving it an honest review. When I read the synopsis of this, I just thought it sounded very interesting. There was a meteor coming to Earth and it was going to completely demolish the Earth, and it follows a group of high school seniors in what happens when you know that you're not going to survive, potentially, 85% or whatever, sure that you're not going to survive. This was told in multiple points of view, and I really liked how that was done. The only thing I wished, there was a character in there that didn't have their own chapter or their own point of view chapter, and I really wish that she had, and her name was Misery, and I really wish she'd had her own chapter. But other than that, I really enjoyed the different points of view, and I felt that the characters were really well developed and really well rounded, and I didn't think, sometimes in these types of books, I find everyone's a little bit, I don't know, dulled down, or it's really difficult to explain, but perhaps the darker side isn't explored as much, and this really does explore the darker side. It's not about everyone, oh, let's all tie up loose ends and be best buddies and let's all, have love and peace. This is about the realities of facing death as a high school senior. They're teenagers, they feel cheated out of a future, and it's very interesting, very gritty, very good, and I really enjoyed it, and I gave this one 4 stars. And because, in usual style, I've done this whole video and not shown you anything, this is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Just in case you haven't seen this around the booktubersphere, this is what it looks like. And this is Sarah Waters' Fingersmith. So in case you didn't know what that looked like. So this is the books, and the other ones were on my Kindle, I'm afraid, so I haven't got a picture to show you. So as for the books that I'm looking at reading next week, I'm currently reading Half Bad by Sally Green. I'm really enjoying it, so I'll probably head on to Half Wild at some point next week. I'd also like to get to The Infinite by Laurie M. Lee, which is the second after Gates of Thread and Stone, which I really enjoyed. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up. I'll probably be moving on to next month by then, so check out my April TBR and you can see what books are coming up next month. So as always, let me know what you've been reading. Have you read any of these? Did you have a similar experience with any of those 5-star books? And have you read any really good books this week? And I look forward to hearing from you and speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.